conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, Charlotte Hornets fans around the world. What's up? It's me, PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we're here to discuss the Charlotte Hornets' victory tonight over the New York Knicks in preseason game number 5 for both teams. And with the victory, the Hornets improved to 5-0 in the preseason, and the Knicks fall to 4-1. This was an excellent game. A lot better than I thought it was going to be, particularly given that the Knicks were coming off a game last night. So they were playing a back-to-back tonight in which they had to travel, and they were playing without several of their starters, including Robin Lopez, Carmelo Anthony, and Jose Calderon. But boy, the Knicks wanted to win this game, and so did the Charlotte Hornets. And we got ourselves a very entertaining contest, particularly for an exhibition game that has no effect in the standings. The Hornets looked very deep. They continue to look deep. I should mention for the JLin fans, JLin did not participate in this game, and that is because he is sick currently. I think he picked up a virus on the trip to China. And so he's ill, and he's put out a picture on his Facebook last night, and he looked a little bit tired, and he said that he's dealing with the virus. So hopefully Jeremy will be rested up for the next game, which will be coming up in just 2 days. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. So what happened in this game? What happened was that even though Charlotte had a really poor assist to turnover ratio as a team as compared with the Knicks, and I'll just tell you right now, 15 assists and 14 turnovers for Charlotte, which is basically 1-1. New York had 25 assists and only 8 turnovers, which is 3-1. Even though that was the case, Charlotte still won this game, and they won because they out-rebounded the Knicks 50-38, including 10-3 in offensive rebounds, and they got to the free throw line a little bit more than did the Knicks, 24 attempts to 14. You really got to feel good about the Charlotte Hornets, and I will say this, you got to feel good about the New York Knicks too. The Knicks put up a tremendous fight in this game, and I was extremely impressed with how they played. They moved the ball very well, and they look deeper than they've been in a while, and they're playing with confidence. And so that's a really good sign. I mean, the Knicks were horrible last year, and so it's kind of good to see them picking themselves back up a little bit. For the Hornets, 4 players in double figures, led by Al Jefferson, 12 points, Kemba Walker, 10 points. Frank Kaminsky had a nice game. 30 minutes played, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Jeremy Lamb, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Frank Kaminsky, just watching him play in this game, he's going to be a nice pro player. He's going to be a good pro player. The only thing he's lacking 2 things. For his height, his arm reach isn't that great. It's not terrible, but it would be better if he had about 3 or 4 more inches of reach to his arm length. And he's not a really athletic guy. Like, he doesn't jump that well. Besides those 2 things, and he needs to get a little bit stronger too, so I'll make that 3 things, but the strength should be able to be fixed with some weight training for a year or 2 or so. Besides the arm reach and the lack of jumping ability, Frank Kaminsky is extremely gifted and talented. Obviously, he can shoot the ball from the outside. He can dribble the ball pretty well. I mean, he can take guys off the dribble. He can dribble behind his back. I mean, he can do some things. He has a good feel for the game. He can pass the ball. This guy is going to be a heck of an NBA player. I'm just saying that right now, provided he doesn't have any serious injuries that shorten or reduce his career. I think Frank Kaminsky is going to have a very good career, and I think Charlotte's going to end up looking quite good for having chosen him. So this was an entertaining game, back and forth. I really didn't think the Knicks were going to play that well as they did tonight, but they definitely surprised me. Also, I'll keep this video shorter. One of the reasons why I was going to keep it shorter was I'm going to watch the Gennady-Golovkin fight tonight, but the game ended relatively quickly, so there's actually a fair amount of time still between now and that. But I'll keep it a little bit shorter because, as most know, this game is most of these videos are more about or concerned with JLin. And since Jeremy didn't play, well, you get a different type of a thing. But the Hornets, they showed all of their depth. They played, I think everybody on the roster played tonight. And they're really, you do lose, explosiveness and pace without having JLin in the game. And I tweeted that out, and there's no question about that. And let me correct myself here. There are 4 players on the roster who did not play. And I should have said that everybody played who was healthy and not ill and not injured. So there were 4 guys who didn't play, but everybody that was capable of playing played. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Yeah, 15-man roster tonight, active, and they all played. So they put everybody in this game, including Elliott Williams, Jason Washburn, Sam Thompson. Those guys got run. Again, Frank Kaminsky got 30 minutes. Damien Wilkins, who was just signed, he got run. And it looks good. It looks deep. The only balance missing here is the second ball handler with the second unit. And in the situation tonight, that meant that Jeremy Lamb had to do more of the ball handling rather than JLin. And Jeremy Lamb is still working on his ball handling. He can make passes, but if you force him to handle a good amount and make decisions consistently, that's not his strength, and he knows that. To be fair to him, it's just that's not really in his skill set at this point in time. I don't think it is. So if you have 4 playmakers active and on the roster, Kemba Walker, Nick Batum, Brian Roberts, and JLin, then you're in good shape. Even if 3 of those guys are starting, you can still usually kick one of them in with the second unit. And so you can almost always have 2 ball handlers on the court at all times. So that was the one thing Charlotte was missing tonight. And so at times their offense looked a little clunky when you only had like 1 ball handler on the court at once, which was Brian Roberts playing with Jeremy Lamb. Also, as I alluded to, JLin adds another gear, another speed to the Hornets offense. He speeds everything up and increases the tempo and the pace. And that was definitely missing tonight. But for that, though, but for the second ball handler overview, missing that in this game, Charlotte looked great. They looked complete except for that. And again, as we're talking about here, they're missing Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who may have been their most important player last year in terms of his impact on wins and losses. This team looks phenomenal. They move the ball extremely well. They're unselfish, and they're confident. They wanted to win this game. They expected to win this game. And for some teams, it doesn't matter what happens in the preseason. For a team like the Cavaliers, for a team like the Warriors, it doesn't matter. They don't need any confidence. They're already confident. But for teams that are coming off of tough seasons and teams that are adding a bunch of new pieces, preseason can have an effect, because then you start building up self-belief and unity, and that's definitely happening for this team. You can see that the feeling that they can succeed is growing, and it's just great to see. And Damien Wilkins, who was just signed the other day, or maybe even like yesterday, I think, he's going to help this team. He's going to help this team. You could see it tonight. I put this out on Twitter. Damien Wilkins is considered, he's a defensive-minded type of player, and he's a 33% career three-point shooter. He's a guy that can come in, drive to the basket a little bit, play defense, take up some minutes. He's basically going to fulfill the role or the roster spot that Michael Gilchrist has occupied. He's not as good as Michael, but that's where he's going to be at. He can play both shooting guard and small forward, which is useful for what the roster needs right now. And so it was nice to see him get in there and kind of be right in the flow. He looked like he fit in great with this team. And they were fortunate to be able to get him because he was going to sign with another team. I think I think a team overseas. I read the story, but I don't remember all the details right now. So really good to see. Something I should mention that came up before the game was JLin did an interview with the New York Daily News, and he basically revealed in the interview that his agent, JLin's agent, reached out to the Knicks over this past summer to see if they were interested in him, and apparently they were not interested in him, which is surprising given the Knicks' lack of talent at the point guard position, in my opinion. Although, look, they have Calderon, they have Langston Galloway. Those are good players, but to me it feels more like James Dolan, who I think believed that he had been insulted, or I don't know, something like that, when JLin ended up going to the Rockets and signing the poison pill contract with the Houston Rockets. My guess is that James Dolan just doesn't want him right now, even though I would have imagined that Phil Jackson might want him. But I don't know. That's just my own personal feeling. I don't have any information on that. That's just my own speculation. But it was interesting to hear that. And Jeremy kind of put his career or his last couple of years in perspective. Just basically saying, look, just that he didn't feel like he understands why the situations in Los Angeles and Houston didn't kind of work out. But he can see it clearly. Like, he's not hung up on it. Just like, yeah, I could see, this is why me and Harden, it didn't great work, and this is what happened with Los Angeles. And I think now he's in a better place. So it's a lot easier to feel good about what happened when you kind of moved on and you've got something to move on to. And that's what it's looking like for him in Charlotte. Now, as I alluded to a second ago, I do believe that Damien Wilkins will complete this roster. I think that Aaron Harrison, Elliot Williams, Sam Thompson, Jason Washburn are not going to make the roster. So I think the roster will be Kemba Walker, JLin, Brian Roberts, Nicholas Batum, Jeremy Lamb, Troy Daniels, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who's still in a roster spot even though he's hurt, Damien Wilkins, P.J. Hairston, Cody Zeller, Marvin Williams, Tyler Hansbrough, Al Jefferson, Spencer Hawes, and Frank Kaminsky. And so now with the addition of Damien Wilkins, I think that pushes out either Aaron Harrison or Elliot Williams. I don't know what the team's plans are with those guys. Maybe they try to hang on to them and send them to the D League or something like this. I'm not sure. I think Aaron Harrison's got some promise. And Elliot Williams had a great year in the D League last year. So we certainly, if this is how it ends up, we certainly would wish those guys well. But I do think that Charlotte, barring any more injuries in the preseason, I think they're pretty much set. And the roster looks good. It looks good, and it looks like the type of roster where almost everybody is going to be able to play. Like almost everybody is capable of contributing to the team. In fact, probably pretty much everybody. Because if you look at maybe the final 2 guys on the roster, at least based upon this preseason, and honestly it's because they've been hurt, number 14 and number 15 would be Troy Daniels and P.J. Hairston. Troy Daniels is an excellent three-point shooter, so he can come on and help you out. P.J. Hairston's got talent, and he can play. So this is a deep, balanced team. Even as we said, even without Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. And it's shaping up to be good. This team, as I mentioned in the last game, in the second game against the Clippers, I wasn't sure about how the defense of this team was going to be, but it looks good. Maybe it's not great or not as elite as it would be or could be without Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He's a defensive juggernaut. He really affects statistically how your defense plays. But it's good enough. It's still a good defense, and with the offensive additions of this team, it's going to be strong enough to be able to hold up in most games, even if they give up a few more points per game as compared with last year, they're going to score more points too. So I think it's capable enough of getting the job done on most nights against most teams. So that's very heartening for the team. The starters for the Hornets did not play at all in the second half. I don't think they did. And I think that's because the team's still coming off of, they only just got back from China like 2 days ago. That's a long flight from China to Charlotte, maybe 18 hours or something. Guys, it's fatiguing. It doesn't seem silly. Like, why would you be fatigued if you're just sitting down in a flight? That's being in an airplane that long. That just wears you out. And that's my guess, is that Steve Clifford wanted to give the guys a little bit more rest, and I think that's a smart idea. So I was curious why he did it, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably why he did it. So that is about it. Another successful outing. Great to see the team just keep winning and performing well and playing smart and sharing the ball. So the next game coming up will be here in the United States on Monday, October 19th, 2015, and it will take place against the Chicago Bulls. I don't have the time in front of me, but it's probably 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I probably would guess 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time then. So that'll be a neat test. The Bulls have a new head coach, Fred Hoiberg. They're talented. They're tough. I think they're still without Derrick Rose, who suffered an orbital bone fracture. So they're maybe not quite up to full speed, but they're a very deep team, and that would be a good contest to see kind of where Charlotte is at. I don't know. There's a chance that this might be the best preseason record for the Hornets ever through 5 games. Obviously, it would be tied for that. I mean, you've never lost. At 4-0, and thanks to Melody Ting for finding this information, that tied the best record in franchise history since 1990. I believe the franchise came into existence in 1988. So it's very possible that 5-0 is the best preseason record ever. I don't really know, but certainly the team is doing well, and we're happy for that. We hope that Jeremy can heal up and be set and ready to go for Monday. I have no idea how he's feeling or how soon the virus might get out of his body, but hopefully as quick as possible, and maybe he can be ready to go for Monday. Okay, that is all for this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. we will work to get information for highlights of this game and put them in the video description below the video player. We encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group. It has over 4,000 members and growing. You'll find information for that in the video description below the video player. You'll also find information to how you can come and follow us on Twitter. We usually talk on Twitter during the games. We did it in this game. It's fun. It's great to interact with people and just talk hoops. So we'd love to have you come and join in on that as well. Look in the video description for that. I'm looking forward to this boxing match tonight. If you're a boxing fan, it should be a really good match between two punchers. And it's going to be explosive. The game's actually at Madison Square Garden tonight. I guess that's why the Knicks couldn't play at home tonight. And I can't wait. It just should be fun. It's going to be coming up maybe about 2 hours or something like that, hour and a half from when I'm making this video. Once again, I am PFE, Paul F. Villarreal. And I was thinking about Dartboard Trader, who made a joke about these videos on Twitter. It's funny. Once again, I am PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. Another great night. And if you're a JLin fan, let me say this. There's fans who, and it's understandable, but it's like they don't want the team to do well when Jeremy doesn't play because they want him to be valued and important. And I understand that. The better the team can do, the better the team's going to be, and the better it's going to be when Jeremy's playing too. We want the team to be good. And I think it's clear to everybody on the team and clear to the coach Jeremy's value. And even though the team won tonight, I think it was very clear that they were missing Jeremy. So we want guys like Jeremy Lamb and other guys to perform well, and they pretty much did that tonight. So it's good. Don't be worried about the competition. I think everything's going to be just fine. Okay, that is it for now. Hope you're having a great night, a great day, wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again probably on Monday night.